right. Good morning. Yeah, we're a little bit late today. Had a bunch of stuff I had to deal with and still dealing with it. So, anyways, good morning, everybody. It's Monday. I hope all is well. It's going to be kind of a weird week for me. Um, been doing a lot of been doing a lot of soul searching actually. But let me change something here. I hope all is well. I have to let's eliminate that. Okay. So, all right. So, we're back. All right. So, let's get rid of that. Good morning. Hope all is well. Did lunch hour live. Looking forward to my crystal ball. The crystal ball is cloudy and dirty. So, I don't know if I'll be much help there. So, let's fix this here real quick. We're going to look at some low board stuff and no lectures today. I'm tired of lecturing. Like I don't know anything. Yeah, 5 minutes will do. All right, so we a lot of great information was being played out over the weekend. So I did not go live this weekend. I almost went live Saturday night, but there's a music project I'm working on, and so I decided to work on that instead. Um, Dispatch this week is going to be interesting, and it'll allow this down. I'll have a little bit of downtime. I got a couple of drivers that I'm dispatching, but beyond that, I'm using this downtime to deal with some tax stuff and deal with the business was weird this year. It's like I'm showing a loss on the truck, obviously, but as far as the dispatch service, I don't have software for that. I do. Someone, CDN did make me like a spreadsheet for the dispatch service. So that was more about keeping track of the main stuff, not the business stuff. So we're finagling a few things, and we're going over my trucking office, which I highly recommend to people that are trucking pro. I have a code for trucking pro. If you so desire to do the computer one-time fee Windows route, which is nothing wrong with that. I did that for 3 years. And hold on. All right, I'm back. So, um, so going over the numbers is really important. I got a text from somebody yesterday, asked me about the program and how important it is. Yeah, I mean, you don't want any surprises at the end of the year. So if you can keep on your numbers, I think that is important. So, anyways, the more you know, and the more you know, the more you can kind of figure things out. So, I also had a request. Someone wanted to look at freight coming in and out of New Mexico, and that's going to be an interesting time. I did see I did see Jeff's live feed last night. I was in there for the end part of it, but I watched some of the replay this morning. So there was that video. Another great video to watch that happened over the weekend is DIY and CDN did a joint live feed, and I've heard it was great. I have not been able to get back to the replay on that. It's about 3 hours long, but CDN is always showing some good information here. I imagine he probably did Adam a pretty good solid, and anybody who watched him. I mean, if you're dealing with brokers, you want to know as much as they know, as much as you can, so you can well play the game better. That's always been a philosophy for me. Trying not to have emotional reactions. I had a slight emotional reaction with one of my main brokers this morning. trying to offer me $1.70 a mile to go down to Texas for a multi-stop load. I'm like, yeah, that's not a great idea. But I handled it, I guess. um, it's tough right now. So it's that's the reality. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, even though people have accused me of doing that. I'm not going to get in your face and yell at you, but at the same time, I'm not going to tell you that the world's fine when it's not. But right now, there is money to be made in the spot market. You just got to know what lanes to be in and what your work ethic is and what you're willing to do for it. And that goes without saying. And the criticism that I'm at home, so it's easier said than done. I will be in the truck next month, um, so there's a lot of things going on, and we're gonna figure it out because that's what we do. It's through all struggles that we get better at life. You can't learn to walk without falling down a few times. You can't learn that the stove is hot without touching it once. I could sit there and tell you that the stove is hot all day long, but until you touch it yourself, the lesson will never be cemented in there. So, anyways, let us go to the low boards. Actually, we'll do our shout outs first. All right. All right. Southbound Pachyderm, just the person I wanted to see in here. Good morning. CB, what's up? Metalheads Unite, form of trucking enthusiasts. Don is shocked at my presence. Max Force, good morning. Scorpion Trucker, good morning. Sitting in the dock. Hopefully you get unloaded fairly quickly. Mr. Mallory, how are you doing? How's your new gig going? CDM Freight Broker, I was just talking good stuff about you. Good morning. Good mid-morning, Steve, right? Red Pepper, good morning. Good lunch hour live. Looking forward to your crystal ball. Shannon, good morning, everyone. I talked to Shannon a little bit yesterday. I was going to try to go live with her yesterday, but that didn't work out. So eventually we're going to do a live together. We're going to test this go live together thing on this StreamYard, see how that works. Bull of the Woods, good morning. Trucking with T-Bone, good morning. Smooth Trucking, Steve, what's up? Pigtail, you're late this time. Woohoo, lectures. No lectures. Watch the video Shannon shared if you want to get depressed and lose all hope of any rebound before 2025. I missed that one. She also went live, I think, Saturday and Sunday. And then Pale Rider had a good live feed with this touring live. And I threw in some questions for Jason talking about tour because you know what? If it wasn't for the lack of home time, I think that's the kind of trucking I would want to do is to be on tour, even with groups I don't like. I think that would be a cool world to be in. But my family obligations wouldn't allow it, which I've got 3 friends that are in that world. And so I feel like I know quite a bit about it versus some common trucker that doesn't know anything about that world. And I think it would be great in many aspects. But in the whole let's go into Madison Square Garden, kind of thing that doesn't intimidate me. So I think it would be pretty cool. Flatbed Trucker, good morning. Let's see. Just ran my February numbers down 8.05%. Expected that though, cents per mile. Yeah, a lot of people are. Look, that's why you don't want any surprises. You want to be able to see. You can do your own trends, right? You can do your own trends of just like DAT and Sonar have the trends and the graphs. You can create that for yourself. And look, trucking is not profitable sometimes. That you might have parts of the year where you're not profitable at all. You have parts of the year where you're extremely profitable. And when you look at some of the charts, when it compares 21, 22, and now 23, You can kind of see there was a chart that Sonar put up today of the reefer rejection rates, and it was crazy different each year. That kind of volatility, man, you got to be prepared for. If you live in the desert, you got to be prepared for heat, right? If you live if you live in Montana, you got to be prepared for the winter. When it's nice, but when it's not, it's not. And you just it's with any business. I know a guy that had a shop, an automotive shop that didn't make money for 5 years, but he kept it afloat, and now it's doing well. So I mean, that's just a part of business life. This Truck and Life, good morning. CDN is good people. He is. He really is. I think it's possible to know too much and get burned out, and it's had me thinking about a career adjustment. I think that's kind of, yeah. I can definitely relate to that, Sterling. Um, there's a lot to this, and sometimes you got to be able to step back and be able to simplify everything. That way you can at least breathe, not let anxiety get to you, and make adjustments. You can sit here and do all these freight analytics, and you can do all these, let's use YouTube for a perfect example. I've had this conversation with Pale Rider and other people that are on YouTube, and you can literally make yourself crazy by trying to hit all the algorithm marks. If you go through your YouTube shorts, which can become addictive, just like TikTok, you have people yelling at you. You have people selling you stuff. You have people that are literally raising their. Imagine being in a room and everybody's just like raising their hands, trying to and yelling to get your attention. That's what YouTube is. And sometimes I'll listen to that person. So you go to that person and say, hey, I'm going to listen to you. And then, but everything gets lost in the digital shuffle. And yesterday was a day that, at the end of the day, I didn't watch hardly any YouTube or listen to it. I was doing stuff around the house. I had, family events I was going to, but at the end of the day, I was so burned out because it seemed like, between the notifications and people texting me and the needs here at home, I just had to literally just sit in silence for an hour. You can call it meditation, you can call it prayer, you can call it whatever you want, but you need to be able to step back and do that. And that's you have to be able to do that. And sometimes, I get on this computer and I'm looking at all these graphs and charts, and I'm looking at loads, and I'm looking at the load board. Sometimes you got to do it with a load board. Sometimes you're looking at 100 options of crap, and you you just have to step back, make a couple of phone calls, and go, hey, you got anything? I'm tired of looking at this load board. And a lot of times I booked freight that way. A lot of times, a lot of people are like, oh, what are you seeing on the DAT today, or what are you seeing on 123 today? Well, I don't know. I didn't look at it. I booked 3 loads through the brokers that I have conversations with. So, anyways, it's part of the game, right? But yeah, you have to be able to step back and just be able to just, I don't know, just be quiet, be still in your mind. Bank Run Monday, yes, I'm watching my Robinhood, hoping that the crypto I got makes a comeback, and it is. If I can get my what I invested back, that I'll be happy with that. That's why I love your show, Snorelord. You don't sugarcoat things, straightforward. Look, it does nobody any good for me to sit there and paint you a positive picture on a crap sandwich, because that makes me look like a scam artist, and I don't want to do that. I want people to be able to make, you know, I want people to have to know what they're getting into. I want to be the person that I needed back in 2014 when I bought my first truck. And granted, I probably wouldn't have listened to a guy like me back in 2014, because at that time I was so focused on making it happen that I wanted to ignore the people that told me that I can't, that it couldn't happen. And so I don't want to be the negative Nancy either. I want to be able to, like, look, here's what challenges you face. Here's what you got to think about. Here's what needs to be done. And 90% of it's mental, because you can have the best finances, the best credit, the best advantages, and still not make it because your mindset is wrong. So I mean that's where we're at. And trucking has always been a struggling thing. It's always had volatility, always. And just when you and if you have the mindset, well, rates will never get down to this number, or rates will never get up to this number. Once you have that in your head, then that's when these surprises really take you and can upset you. Just know that there are brokers out there trying to move loads for 80, 90 cents a mile. They don't care about your fuel. They don't care about your costs. They don't care about the fact that labor is $200 an hour at dealerships. They don't care that your truck might go down for a month because of a bad depth sensor. They don't care about any of that. The ones that do care already have established relationships with carriers. The brokers that do care about that are educating their customers on what's needed to run a trucking business. The the one and done, I just need to book this load because I got 500 on my board. They don't care about any of that. They're told to move a load at a certain number, and that's what they're going to try to do. And the more people that take that, then the more they get away with it. I lost two possible decent runs today because someone took that $1.70 mile multi-stop load into literally I-2, Interstate 2 in Texas, 180 miles from Laredo, which is where you're probably going to have to go to get a load out of there. Someone took that. And as long as the broker can get away with pushing that, they're going to take that. And it's hard to establish good carriers when you pay it like that. So, I mean, it's part of the game, and you have to put the pads on, put the helmet on, you have to be willing to play. Pale Rider, what's up? Good morning. Jose, good morning. My name is Nobody. What's up? Nothing Witty is in the house. It's going good, very steady. Good deal. That's what you needed. Reefer 77, good morning. Trucking with MC, Snorelord, what's up? No surprise, I'm still alive. Good deal. That's always good. Any day that you're not taking a dirt nap is a good day. I find value in your analysis. As a current professional driver, your road experience allows you to see things some other dispatchers would not. Much appreciated. Thank you. Anyone look at the stock market this morning? Bank stocks tanking, trading halted. Yeah, it's financially it's going to get ugly, people. I mean, that's just all there is to it. Time to do a bank run, sounds like. Oh, wait, you got to have money for that, right? It's smaller regional banks getting hit, unfortunately. They're all getting hit. Depositors will get fed. Scorpion, good for you. We all need a break. Yes. I spent a lot of time lately tuning out so much noise in the world. That's exactly what yesterday was. Too much noise. And you got to be able to quiet the mind. It's easy to quiet the mind. Like, it's easy for me to quiet the mind, if I'm out in the wilderness, out in the woods or whatever. But to be able to quiet the mind in all the noise, that would be the skill. That's the skill set I'm searching for. Because that's sometimes you don't have a choice. You got to be able to do that. Not Sterling's problem. That's a good channel name. Everybody needs a B hat to assist with better business decisions. Absolutely. All right. Boom, stand at ease, everyone. Boom, stand at ease, everyone. Okay. I thought you were telling me my boom stand is at ease. Just right in the Ozarks, good morning. Guess what? That thing's back on the market, Dave. So we're dealing with that as well. DIY Semi, I was just talking about you in CDN's video. I have not watched the replay yet, but I had heard from many people that it was, I did get in there towards the end. Actually, I thought it was towards the end, but then there was like, no, it was towards the end. But I've heard through many people that it was much appreciated and great information, which CDN is always putting out great information. I was glad to see he started a channel. So, but DIY, go check out his video. If you want DIY, you got a wrench. Go ahead and put the link to that video in here. So, all right. So let's look at the 123 low board, shall we? Pachyderm wanted some New Mexico stuff. And I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna show the DAT as well, because he needs an analysis of what it would be like to roll a truck as an owner operator in and out of New Mexico in the spot market. All right. So first of all, we're going to do the density map. So let's go with van. And let's look at the map. So this is your map. So as of right now, there's, let's go to New Mexico. Well, let me hover over this. So as of right now, there's 29 outbound and 54 inbound. A lot of stuff coming out of Albuquerque. There's Cuba, New Mexico, Deming, New Mexico. Now, a decent lane. So you're looking at Rio Rancho, New Mexico to Pueblo, Colorado, $600, $1.78 a mile. Any outbound freight is going to pay low coming out of New Mexico. Just know that, Pachyderm. So you got to get your money going in. Looks like USA's got quite a bit. I have a friend of mine over at Swift. He said he was sitting waiting for dispatch. He was in New Mexico. Swift didn't have anything. Well, here we go. Here's one of your higher paying loads. Cuba, New Mexico to Caldwell, Idaho. Picks up Wednesday, delivers Friday. They're at $2,200, $250 a mile. 879 miles. That's pretty good. But then what are you going to get out of Idaho? There's 8 loads out of Idaho going anywhere. So you would look at this and like, okay, here's Burley, Idaho to Memphis, Tennessee. Picks up 17th, doesn't deliver till the 23rd, which is, wow, that's, how many miles is that? 1732. It picks up Friday and delivers Thursday, but you're going to land in Memphis. which ain't too bad. Oh, they got a D rating for Thunder Funding, so I'd check their credit. Transcredit says 98.27 days to pay, but evidently Thunder's had a little bit of not decent luck with them. And the average on that is $1.80 to go from Idaho to Memphis. So and then from Memphis you could probably get a load right back to New Mexico. Let's see what other higher paying loads we got out of here. We've got $2.11 a mile from Deming to Denver, Worldwide Express. You have, see, $1.80. So you're in about the $1.90s, but that's going to Texas. It's the lack of choice here. So let me do this here. Yeah, New Mexico is a tough gig. So let me look here. So StreamYard's being a little bit slow. So here's your so this is for van, this is your load ratios. So let's look at New Mexico. 188 going in, 186, I'm sorry, and 83 coming out. So what you can do is you can click. Oh, it's not let me click. It used to let you click on that number and then it would tell you everything coming out of New Mexico. So obviously this falls in line with the 123 low board too. There's not much coming out. And so what you would do is let's look at let's look at Albuquerque. We're going to do let's do a 400-mile radius of Albuquerque. Destination going anywhere, equipment type, we want vans, and let's do for the next, actually let's do it for just today. Let's say you're in New Mexico going, man, I need a load. Let's see what that looks like. $518 results. So let's reduce this down a little bit. Let's do 150. See what that does. 23 results. So let's see where the sweet spot is. 200. 31 results. So 250. 103 results. So the 300-mile mark is where it's going to be at. So 300. Yep, 329. So that's the sweet spot. So you're looking at a decent 250-mile rate. 300. So let's filter it by highest rate. 4,300 to go from Dexter, New Mexico to Bethra, South Carolina. Average is about $1.91. So that's kind of what the 123 was showing, was $1.89. So that's pretty cool. Oh, look, but look at this Gmail account right here. Do not, no. If you're a broker using a Gmail account, just don't even deal with that. The professional brokers will tell you that is setting you up for a scam right there, which is probably why it's the best paying load on here. If you see ridiculous amount of money on something and it's a Gmail address broker, then it's up to no good, and it's really bad right now. I've gotten several emails from several brokers that are just really they're at their wits end with this stuff, and so you really got to be careful, and that's why it's important to have a good uh, way to check credit. So your other higher paying stuff, here's 255 from Roswell to Post Falls, Idaho. Again, so obviously a good lane, good paying lane. It's going to be up to Idaho. Then here's another one. They're at $1.95 to go to West Palm Beach, Florida. That's long ship. They're okay. Um, Loads up to Washington. Here's one to Pottsville, PA. They're at $1.45 for that one. But you're looking at quite a bit of deadhead on these. This is all like 266, 288 from Albuquerque. How far is Roswell? El Paso is going to be a lane that you're going to pull out of. Usually, when you go to Albuquerque, you're pulling out of El Paso in the flatbed. Usually, loads going to California. They're paying above $2 a mile, and all this stuff going to good areas like Michigan. Like here's one El Paso to Madison Heights, Michigan. Flock freight they're $1.44. So let's look at the average on that. $1.93. So you're looking at about between $1.60 and $1.80 to come out of New Mexico, unless you're going into Idaho, Washington, or California. You're going to get $2 to $2.50. So do I know the primary lanes for Schneider Tanker? No, but Nomadic Britwood. Truck with MC, what's up? I've never dealt with Tanker over on the Schneider side. Actually, I've never dealt with Tanker altogether. I have a couple of friends in that field that I can get some information from, but generally tank freight isn't in the spot market. Toby, what's up? Trucking with MC. Hope everyone is well. Good to see you. What they got Missouri area pneumatic Brit. Brit wonder if north, south, Midwest to south would work for an out and back week and still be profitable. That's how you got to think of things. Is you got triangles, you got circles, but you can also, if depending on the areas, you can do out and back. So this is the density map for vans. So like a lot of volume in California and a lot of volume in Texas. So you'd want to look at the rates. So what you can do is you can go to rate check here. Like is meowing. All right. So let's do LA. And then put in Houston. By the way, if you're a chemical tank, Houston's a good spot to be in. All right, so this is for van, get rate. So you can look. Average rate is $1.35 from LA to Houston. And so you can reverse it. $1.85. High is 210, low is $1.67. If we go back, the low is $1.25, the middle is $1.35, and the high is $1.58. So evidently that probably wouldn't be a profitable lane. So you'd want to figure out a triangle. So if you're freight from Houston, let's say you're at 210 a mile to LA, um let's see. Let's do so let's say you're getting Houston to LA 210 a mile. So we go back to this map and look at another green state. Maybe let's do Wisconsin. So maybe you can do Houston, LA, LA to Wisconsin, Wisconsin back to Houston. I know Wisconsin to Houston, that's actually going to be pretty good or should be good. I don't know. The shoulds have been thrown out the window. Like you shouldn't be paying $1.70 a mile to do a multi-stop load in the middle of nowhere, Texas. But shows you what do I know, right? So let's go with rate check. Houston to Wisconsin. We'll do Wisconsin Rapids. How's that? Get rate. For van to go from Houston, Wisconsin is $2.89, $1.73, $1.20 is the low, but $1.73 is your average. If you look at 289, so now you return Wisconsin to Houston, you're looking at 236, $2, $1.58. So you'd want to figure out what pays better to go into California. Let's say you live in LA. So you can essentially do that with New Mexico. So let's do Albuquerque. Let's do Columbus, Ohio. Actually, no, let's do Boise. Boise, Idaho. For van, get rate. Looking at 252 a mile, 226 to 204. A little bit of volatility with this graph here, but for the most part, um, not too bad. And so you reverse that, Boise to Albuquerque. There's not even enough. Like their average is $1.93, but there's not even enough data to create the rest of it. But that's actually not a bad rate when it comes to going. Well, no, it needs to be a little bit higher to go into New Mexico, but you're getting paid decent to come out of New Mexico to go into Idaho. So what you'd want to do is now let's do Boise to Milwaukee. $1.80 is the average there, and then now we'll do Milwaukee to Albuquerque again. There's your triangle. Get right. $1.83 with a couple of peaks. So now these are just averages, right? You can negotiate more or less depending on what the market is dictating. But I do know that coming out in New Mexico is going to be a challenge unless you're going into another area that's also going to be a challenge. So either way, you've got challenges ahead of you. Are you up to that challenge? Is it worth it to you? That's the question you got to ask yourself. I can't answer that for you. Dispatch service is 5%. And so if you're at a company making 80, I get 100%. I get 5% of the 100 number, and I don't get 5% for your detention layover. It's booked rate. So if you book a load for 2,000, but then you make $200 on layover or detention, I only take it out of that 1,000 initial 1,000. So, and with a lot of brokers wanting emails and if you're having to run hard, like 600, 700 miles a day, it's tough to book freight because you should not be messing with your phone going down the road. I know a lot of you do, especially when it comes to booking freight. But that's where I come in. I could be the eyes for the low board and make the phone calls and the emails for you. Good morning, all from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. I remember that place. I used to practically live there. CBS, those are doable. Our main pickup good areas are Texas, Illinois, Ohio, South Carolina, North Carolina, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, LA, Los Angeles, or Louisiana, Georgia, Mississippi, Wisconsin, Michigan. There you go. So I mean, there's a lot that you can do with these tools. Hold on a second. All right. I'm going to have to tend to that here in a few minutes. So I just wanted to go live and kind of mention, I wanted to hit New Mexico for pachyderm there. But these, and if you're on the app on the phone, it'll show up as this list. So you can kind of thumb through. But either way, you're looking at, New Mexico is doable, but it's a challenge. And just know that even the bigger companies don't mess with it at all. So you would have to find your lane. My strategy is if I was dispatching you out of New Mexico, I would find that broker that's got the freight coming out of there and do everything I can to service that broker. So we always have a load coming out. Getting a load into New Mexico is usually not a challenge. And then the other way you can look at that is if you live near Albuquerque and you just need a couple of days by the house, then if you live close to I-40, we can get you through the house going to Phoenix or going to California. So I mean, there are some opportunities there, but it's definitely a tough game. It's not going to be easy. If you're willing to put in the work, and it could be done. Look, you're going to have a lot more disadvantages than if you lived in, like, say, Springfield, Missouri. But you're going to have to create your own advantages. And how do you do that? What does that look like? Well, getting in good with the brokers that have the freight coming out of there. Getting the loads that that you can go home under a load, like pick up something out of Dallas and go home under the load and deliver it Monday in Phoenix or something, or something like that. Did I see that Missouri Carrier Rapid Response sold company and employees? I believe somebody sent me something on that. I get so much information. And I had not read that. I had not read. I'd heard about it, but I had not read into it. ESOP. You'll have to remind me what that stands for, Pigtail. Have we talked about the banks failing? No. I mean, SSD mentioned it, but I don't know anything about economics. I have people sending me information on that, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do with this. I believe TC Boggs is live right now talking about it. I do know that there's some ties overseas with the SVP Bank, and so who knows? I've got a friend of mine that's been warning me for about 8 years now about the financial collapse of the country. So looks like he might have been right. So who knows? Hull grain and Mechanicsburg, PA, all the time. I used to run a lot of stuff out of Springfield up to Mechanicsburg. Yeah, that made me jump. You guys see me jump? You guys hear all that? That's my day. All right, guys. I've got to. Yeah, this is just 2007, 2008 all over again, or close to it. So, with that knowledge, okay. So let's talk about this since Cool Trucker wants to go here. So here's the thing: do some research and find out what companies survived 2000, 2008, 07 and 08, what they did to survive that, what they do to pivot from that, how did they get through that, and what companies took advantage of that. Do what they do, and you'll be okay. It's that simple. Britt's putting up his channel up there. Everybody check it out. So, anyways, guys, I think that's it. I've got to get to work. So, I appreciate everybody coming in. I appreciate the super chats. Thank you, Pachyderm. I forgot to highlight that. I apologize. I'm pretty flexible on trying to help people out. I don't claim to know everything. I don't claim to know anything, but there might be a couple experiences and failures that I've had that might be able to help you out. So, with that being said, thanks for watching. And yeah, peace out. Thanks for supporting the channel. 48065 for the 123 low board. Check out the memberships. Make sure, see if that's something that appeals to you. I will be upticking a lot of membership videos, members first. Oh, and check out Snorelord OG. I'm getting ready to do a holster review on that channel. So, with that being said, thanks for watching. Strength for today, hope for tomorrow, and don't be a butthead. Peace.